Minasan, konnichiwa, Zamurai Engineer desu. In this video, let us continue NFPA 101 Life Safety Code discussion. We are now beginning to start with part 2, already through with part 1, which is the introduction part. So part 2, there are several things that we need to tackle. So there are, I think, 3 modules, module 6, 7, and 8. And for each module, there are several sub-modules. So in this module number 6, we are going to tackle general requirements of the first sub-module 6.1. Okay, I am your professor, Dr. A.P. Zantua. I am a civil engineer, electrical engineer, industrial engineer, mechanical engineer, and from Polytechnic University, Japan. Okay. So we have part 2, general requirements and occupancy. Our code objective is the satisfaction of life safety code by specific requirements to minimize danger to life from fire, smoke, heat, and toxic gases, mission continuity and property protection in both new construction and existing buildings. Okay, so minimize danger. Okay. Danger to life. That is the priority, to minimize danger to life. That is from fire, which also involves smoke, heat, and toxic gases. And I'm correct. We have 3 modules here. Code SPA. Number 7 is Occupancy Classification and Hazard of Contents. So we are on the first one, which would discuss the following: scope, purpose, application. That is what we mean by SPA. Scope, purpose, and application. Not only that, we will also discuss equivalency and general code provisions. So let us start with scope. So for scope, the code addresses those construction, protection, and occupancy features to minimize danger to life from the effects of fire, including smoke, heat, and toxic gases created during fire. So this is actually the objective of the code, and actually that is the what? The statement of scope. Okay, protection of occupant is achieved by the combination of the following: prevention, protection, egress, and other features. Okay, so we have delimitation. So usually we have scope and delimitation or limitation. Those are the areas not addressed by the code. Not addressed by the code. Okay. Those are general fire prevention and building codes. This life safety code do not address building codes. Okay. And also do not address the general fire prevention. Okay. The general fire prevention. Number 2, injuries. It does not address injuries due to failure to use reasonable care. Okay. So using reasonable care, we have to get a training how to determine which are reasonable care. Okay, training, human training, human development, okay, employee development training, in order to be aware everybody that is occupying the building to be aware of some procedure. So therefore, that's why I introduce myself as also an industrial engineer. That is a subject, a topic that is within the bandwidth of industrial engineering. Okay, having a policy that would make all of the employees follow certain rules. Number 3, preservation of property. It does not address preservation of property from loss by flood. Okay? Instead, it addresses the minimization of danger to life rather than property. So, after a certain building is gutted by fire, it must be reevaluated and assessed by a competent engineer for its structural integrity. Okay, structural integrity, number 1. So mechanical components, plumbing, electrical, electronics, and so on. They have to be checked and evaluated. So those are what? The responsible design professionals connected with building codes, structural integrity, the mechanical, plumbing, electrical, electronics, okay, sanitary, if there is sanitary implements there. So, in addition to what? To fire code compliance. Again, reassess, reevaluate, and somebody, those professionals should be issuing certificate before the building should be used again. Okay? Cannot be reused again without certification from professionals. So that is the difference. Okay? By this. Okay? Because those structures are not there because it only complies with the provision of minimization of danger to life, not preservation of property. Okay, take note of that. And number 4, retail sale and storage of consumer fireworks. Okay, so distribution and storage of these fireworks in that area would pose additional risk and critical risk. So that must be what? Be a special. There is actually a special code for that. Okay, so it is not in this life safety code. However, even though life safety code is not specifically presented, implemented, adopted to address these areas, life safety code in a way also will help in the general fire prevention and building code compliance. It also helps to minimize injuries. It also helps to preserve property. Okay, by just complying with the minimum, although it is not responsible for those areas. Okay, because there are specific codes. For example, even general fire prevention code. There is a general fire prevention code in some countries. Okay, I don't know. I think in our country we don't have one, but in other countries there are fire prevention codes, and they are spelled out as a policy for everybody or the occupants to follow. So there are rigorous training and there are requirement every year. For example, in Japan, there are, I think, requirement of twice a year. Fire drill, earthquake drill, and so on. So those are what practice. They are required to practice. Okay, just to be able to satisfy, comply with the prevention requirement. That is prevention of fatalities and damage to property, because all of the occupants have to be what? Aware of which are the egress, which are the exit, which are the equipment that would help in times of fire. So it will definitely minimize fatalities and property loss. Okay, so that is actually always indicated in our second page of all of our videos, because we have to what? To continue the mission, okay, of the structure, okay? Continuity of the mission and property preservation. But those are what? Lateral. Those are just lateral help made by just complying with the provision of the fire code, because the provision of the fire code is mainly to minimize danger to life. Okay. So we have here the picture of electrical, mechanical, plumbing, architectural, structural, and in our country we have another one, which is electronics. So there are 8 professionals working on our engineering plan. We have sanitary, electronics, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, architect, geodetic, and civil. Okay, so this is 5 here. Those are not here are sanitary, electronics, and geodetic. There are 8 professionals working on this. In addition, we have zone and zoning in area, environmental plan. Okay. That is an additional professional part. They are more on the environment rather than the structure itself. Okay. So on the other picture, we have what? The general, you already know this, you are familiar with this. These are the common contents of our chapters. So we have what? Occupancy chapters, we have the following. Core chapters, we have the following. So core chapters, they are having the following contents uniformly. So for example, chapters number 0.1, that is general. Chapter number 0.2, that is means of egress. Chapter number 0.3, that is protection. Chapter number 0.4, that is special provision. Chapter number 0.5, that is building services. Building services. We are not claiming to be building code, but we also help because we have building services. Building services, those are the intersection between our engineering design profession and our fire code. Okay, so there is an intersection. And again, 0.6 special occupancy and provision, and 0.7 operating features. Operating features another, because this may special provision and occupancy operating features, they may include those rules that are necessary for the occupants to avoid panic at those emergency situations. Okay, so they could help. They could help by being aware of, for example, signaling and what? Sign, symbols that appears during, so for example, sign of direction. Where do you have to go? So suddenly there is what? Big blackout inside the building, and there are what? Emergency lighting that have arrows going to the exit or the egress or the areas of refuge. Okay? Areas of refuge is a very important characteristic or feature of a building. So it will reduce what? Panic to our occupants after seeing those symbols and guides. Okay? They will be guided even if they are what? Visitors on that building. They are just a visitor. They are not the usual. They are not the usual occupants of that building. They are not employee or involved in that building. They just visited for some purpose like commercial purposes or because the area is, for example, mall. There are so many visitors. So they will be what? Assured because you are seeing what symbol. Please go to that direction. This way, emergency this way. Okay. So they are assured. That's why they will what? Listen their panic. They will stop panicking. Okay. So these are the indication that our life safety code is not only for mechanical, architect, electrical, electronics engineer. They are also for what? Civil engineers that would design building design. Civil engineers design building design and structural. There are two components. So building design is almost similar to architectural design, and you can use building design to satisfy architectural requirement. Okay, you can use building design. So we do this as a civil engineer, and also we do the industrial engineering design for the safe route of the occupants. How the occupants would flow, would run out, would get out of the area successfully or without any additional danger. Because there are instances, specific instances in our country, the ozone disco tragedy. There are also instances in the United States wherein the panicking occupants of the building was trapped on the last door going out. Why? Because they have a congestion. There is a bottleneck on that door, and they fight to get out first, and because of that, most of them was not able to make it together. They are fatalities due to smoke, suffocation. Okay, so those are the things that would like to really take a look at this video of scope. What is the boundary that covered by this code? So areas covered and areas not covered. Okay, again, for the not covered one, we have general fire prevention and building codes, injuries due to use of failure to use reasonable care, preservation of property, and retail of consumer firearms. Okay, so I think this is the last page. I would like you to please support our channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing our videos. And we would like to ask you to post an ad for a minimum sponsorship fee, just to let our free tutorial channel operate smoothly. You can also choose to do our peso fund, wherein you can actually give 1 peso, 2 peso, and so on. So it's not a big thing to do, just to fund our free tutorial channel. Okay, those are donations. We are not asking for any contribution. Okay, these are donation, and that is for the use of our operation of this channel. Thank you for your time, and again, this is Dr. DrEYPEI, preaching engineering for nation building.